Hi, Devinder, and welcome to the Women's Day special podcast episode. I'm so delighted to have you on board NRG Retreat with Tanvi Kapoor podcast.
Thank you, Tanvi. It's a pleasure to join you today, and especially on the occasion of Women's Day. Happy Women's Day to you and to all our listeners.
Absolutely. And for all our listeners who are logging in for the first time, NRG Retreat with Tanvi Kapoor podcast is a destination where you will learn everything about wellness products, services. You're going to meet some wonderful wellness entrepreneurs as well. And the episodes are available on YouTube, Facebook, live streaming, and you can always also listen to them on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, and Alexa. So, on that note, let's begin the show. In the words of
Wonderful.
Rumi, beyond the right and wrong, there is a place, and I will meet you there. To come to that space, our host and guest today, Devinder, has played with a lot of wellness modalities. Then realizing that actually everything she needed to be for herself and for others actually lay within her. So it's my pleasure to host you today at this show, Devinder, and thank you so much for being my guest. Please share your story and your journey and tell us about how it all started for you.
Well, very frankly, thank you, Tanvi, firstly, for having me and talking a little about my journey. I honestly never anticipated that I would be facilitating other people at some point in my life. I started this journey about 29 years ago, and it was primarily for my own self. I was looking at healing myself. I had a lot of emotional issues and later health issues and all of that. And my primary purpose was to heal myself. And I did a whole host of modalities, one after the other, until I came to a space wherein friends, relatives, everybody would kind of turn to me and ask for my inputs in various situations, whether it was emotional, related to their health, well being, whatsoever. And at one time, when I was going through a low, a friend of mine suggested that I take this up professionally. And I really, at that time, did not consider myself confident enough to take it on. But as they say, that you've just got to be willing, and then the rest shows up. So for me, I then trained in a couple of other modalities to be able to coach people, and hence got where I am today. And I think it's been a very interesting journey, starting and learning and meeting very interesting people. And I have to say, I have been very fortunate to have some fabulous teachers who really kind of restored my faith in myself while they put in their faith in me. So, yeah, that's helped build me up. And I intend to pass it on to whoever chooses this path.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. And correctly, as you said, like so many times when we go through certain experiences that may not be the most uplifting experiences in our life is when we actually discover, number one, that we have that capacity to actually heal ourselves. And when we start working on that process of really healing ourselves, we realize that this is an inherent property that lies within everybody, and if they channelize it, then they can use it for
Mm.
themselves and to also help and heal others. So I think that's how the journey of most people who get into the realm of wellness really begins. And Devinder, I've known you for so many years, and we used to have some wonderful times exchanging body work, energy work. It used to just be like such a magical exploration. The sessions that we used to
Yeah.
have, gifting and receiving with each other. So these are just like great memories. But coming back to your point, yes, inherently, that gift lies within. And it's just up to us to how we can channelize that and really bring it forth for ourselves as well as for others. And all of us have gone through certain experiences that have been unpleasant or where we've not particularly felt supported. They've not really been experiences where you feel uplifted in life. some people go through very hard experiences, whether it's financially, emotionally, in relationships, in their health. Experiences may vary from person to person and from individual to individual. But what really happens is that we don't realize sometimes this trauma gets stored in our body. Sometimes this can show up as health concerns, and sometimes it just kind of, triggers when something in your environment happens that's again unpleasant, and everything that may not have been positive till date comes like a mountain, and all those feelings just come pouring way back again. So it how can energy work help with this? Because this is something that you have mentioned, that it is these stuck emotions and blocked energy that, of trauma that we store in our
Yeah,
body,
yeah,
whether it's emotional, physical trauma, any kind of trauma. How can that be released through the
yeah.
kind of work that you do? And so it's very interesting what Devinder calls this entire process, this entire um, energy work. It's called quantum leaps with body alchemy. So tell me the connection between releasing, all the pent up, stopped emotions inside our body with the help
Mm-hmm.
of body alchemy. On to you,
Yeah.
Devinder.
Thank you, Tanvi. And as you rightly said, yes, uh, about starting from the journeys, we all have an intent of helping other people. But as they say, you can't pour from an empty cup. So, the first thing I think in the journey of any person who would choose to facilitate another is to first fill their own cup so that they can share it with others. It has to be more of an overflowing from within rather than just trying to superficially trying to help others. And the journey, of course, it's a process of first healing yourself and then being able to pass on that along with going further in your journey, because with each person, with each client, I think I have grown as well. And my belief, I mean, I've done several modalities, whether it's a body class in the Access Consciousness, the bars, the advanced body class, so many other modalities, whether it was hypnotherapy or using tuning forks for chakra balancing and so on. What I've come to realize, the common thread amongst all the modalities is unresolved emotions will lead to dis-ease. We call it disease, but it is dis-ease. It is
Right.
a lack of ease within the body. And wherever the body locks up that emotion, it could be different places for different people. So you may choose to keep something precious maybe in your cupboard, and I may choose to keep it in my bedside drawer. So similarly in the body, we lock it up in different places. And while I was working with a whole host of other modalities, something which organically started developing was that while I was working with clients, is that I would suddenly pick up certain locations in their body where, upon gently pressing, they would yelp in pain. And that would primarily because I realized there was some locked energy there, and then working on that part and helping them release while through conversations and coaching and working on their bodies has really helped people grow by leaps and bounds. And of course, the energy process that has kind of come up is something which is, I feel, which may be kind of different from all other modalities. It's not Reiki, it's not this, it's not that. And at times I've been able to do distance also, which again is something which I have come to organically. I mean, I didn't anticipate this, but as I'm having a conversation, I might be able to ask somebody, okay, if you press on the backside of your right shoulder, does it hurt there? And most of the times it's just been right. And then, of course, guiding them through further on how to release it, how to work with it, what emotions could be locked there, have really not only opened it up physically, but whatever aspect in life was stuck, whether it was financial, whether it was emotional, whether it was, growth, personal growth, it just happens to unlock and people are able to grow by leaps and bounds. That's why the name also organically came up, quantum leaps in life through body alchemy, because that's where the storehouse of emotions is. So really, as we release it from the body, there are quantum leaps visible both within the body and in life in general.
So when we release these unpleasant memories or any trauma that's locked in our body,
Mm-hmm.
it helps us to actually work on areas that are currently limiting our growth, right, and causing
Yeah,
impediments in our growth. So
absolutely.
and all this trauma can be released through the process of body alchemy, thus resulting in quantum leaps in our life, in any area of our life that we'd like to work on, right?
Absolutely. It could be finances, it could be relationships, it could be for people looking for a partner, it could be in any aspect, any area of one's life. It's just that what fear, trauma, emotion, pain is locked in the that part of the body, once it's dissipated and released, it just opens the floodgates for life to take up, I mean, to happen. Nature, as I know, doesn't like vacuums. So as you clear the blocked energy, something beautiful comes in, rushes in to fill up that space. And that's what I've seen with most people, or most clients that I've worked with.
Great. And now going back a little bit to our journey, Devinder and I, so we met during Access Consciousness. So we've studied bars,
Yes.
body processes, so on and so forth, like a whole lot of other stuff. But what really was like the magical part is that every time there is an exchange of a process, it really shifts your life in ways that you can't immediately sense.
Mm,
It'll start showing gradually, but what you immediately feel after a body process is a lot of ease, okay, and a
yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
release, okay. So you'll have like a very light feeling. You might even like go to sleep. With other people who are releasing a lot of trauma, they have their own way of releasing. Some people laugh, some people shed tears, some people scream. It's all right, but there is a lot of ease and release associated with body work. And I think the winner also why I chose to like really have you on the Women's Day special episode is because I have seen how you have also taken some very empowering decisions in your own life. And I am it is like so exciting every time I come to Goa. And I see you living this beautiful life in Goa, and by the ocean, with your pet. So tell me more about all these empowering decisions that you have taken in your life that have created such a huge shift for you. And honestly, like these decisions may seem small to you because the person who takes these empowering decisions sometimes doesn't really realize the big steps that they are taking, but they really have an impact on the lives of other people. So I would love for you today to share, your journey into, I remember having that conversation with you, Tanvi, I feel I need to be somewhere else. And you were in Goa, a
Yeah.
couple of months down the lane, you were in Goa. And I was like, wow, there she is, She had, it
Yeah.
was an idea that came to her, and then she just went for it, created her life, and boom. So tell me more about that experience. And I'm sure it's going to inspire, a lot of our listeners, women and men alike. So please tell us more about, your empowering shifts in your life.
Well, thank you, Tanvi, for whatever you said. Yes, that is true. That I have taken a lot of so-called tough decisions, and honestly speaking, when I was taking them, as you rightly said, you don't feel it then. But my thing was that I was willing for the universe to lead me. And when I decided to move out of Delhi for after living there for 33 years and moving to Goa where I did not know anyone, it was not an easy decision. I
And
had
now,
a
when you
whole
come to
lot of
Goa, you're the local. You take us around. I remember that one
yeah,
long drive, beautiful drive. It was just amazing.
yeah. So
Thank you.
yeah, it was. I had a lot of things pulling me back in Delhi, and there was something propelling me towards Goa. I actually do not know. It did not come from my head. I know that it was somewhere the universe leading me on. And yes, I am grateful and glad that I moved to Goa because the kind of life I've created here and the kind of people I've met, the kind of support I've gotten, and I've been able to kind of slow down the pace of my life. I find the pace of life in Goa much gentler as compared to Delhi, and it is something which I really treasure and value today. And at the same time, I have stopped saying that this is going to be my permanent base. I'm willing to, for the universe to lead me anywhere. So if tomorrow it means that I move to another place, okay, so be it. I'm willing to move wherever life is going to let me bloom and blossom. That's what my desire is. And at the same time, I also would like, I mean, I derive a lot of satisfaction in seeing people's lives change. So if I can contribute, if there are the kind of people who are looking for a person like me who could enable them, empower them, help change their lives in any which way, and of course I have the joy of living in that place, I'm willing to go anywhere in the world. So yeah, I mean, I agree. When I look back, I kind of laugh that if 6 years ago somebody had said you'd be living in Goa, I would have laughed and said, Goa? Why would I move to Goa? I know no one in Goa.
Yeah.
And today here I am. So it's been 4 years now and it's been a beautiful journey. So yes, and I met some wonderful people. I think it's led to a lot of my growth, even in facilitating people. I've been able to learn a few other modalities also because here, I mean, it's kind of a melting pot of cultures. So you have people and facilitators from all over the world come in here. So I've been fortunate to learn from some of them, and it's kind of enhanced my growth and my ability to contribute as well. And in fact, on the coming weekend, also, I am co facilitating a brief retreat with another female who's half Brit and half Indian. And so, yeah, it's kind of growing and sharing. And that's been my journey. And that's been, I think, my calling, which I continue to move on with.
So I think all of us should be willing to listen to the gentle, whispers that the universe keeps giving us, and maybe the gentle hints that we keep getting sometimes from our own soul to move in a certain direction and not to kind of hesitate and to like really take maybe small steps, but move closer to the direction that we desire for ourselves. So tell me more about this retreat. What is the retreat all about?
It's about, again, we're talking about the blocked energies in the body, and she works with movement. So it is with going to be with movement, with facilitation, with coaching, with the energy work. So it's going to be a mix of it. And right now we have 3 participants signed up, and we are looking at going for more. And we are also considering to be able to do something like that in Delhi also. So let's see how it goes here in Goa first, and then perhaps we'll bring it to Delhi also. So
So
it's
great.
primarily working on the body through movement and through energy processes and coaching.
So I would love to, be a part of this if it comes to Delhi. So we're definitely going to connect on that. For all you guys know, I
Perfect.
mean, this is going to be happening in Delhi. So stay tuned to the podcast. So tell me, Devinder, about other modalities that you follow and that perhaps our participants can look into. What you would like to tell us today about the other wellness modalities that you're into?
Well, I do the chakra balancing with tuning forks, and I use different fork frequencies for different people depending on what their issues are. So that is again something very powerful. I've been
What is
trained
the
as a
tuning
hypnotherapist.
fork? Devinder, sorry to interrupt. What
Tuning
is the tuning fork?
Tuning forks are actually more like scientific instruments which people use as children growing up in your chemistry and in your physics labs. But these are tuning forks made to specific frequencies to kind of bring the chakras into alignment. So,
Okay.
and our chakras again are something which, which we can talk about very scientifically. They are all our major glands, the convergence of all our major glands which release hormones in our bodies. Okay, in science we call them glands, and in our Indian system we call them chakras. So basically bringing those, and those could be out of balance in excess or in deprivation. It's like I keep saying, using the analogy of high and low blood pressure. It could be high or it could be low. So your chakra could be over exercised or underused. So bringing that into balance and alignment also opens up a lot for people. I do that. I'm trained as a hypnotherapist. I am trained in access body processes and bars. So I facilitate sessions of these. And I do coaching, which is basically talking, because I've always believed that you walk on 2 feet, you run on 2 feet, and the 2 feet of life are energy and action. So one is working energetically and getting rid of all the blocked energy and the barriers that you have energetically locked up. But the other part is also action. I can sort out everything energetically, but if I don't take any action, nothing in my life changes. So for the action bit, I do coaching also. I do coaching sessions. And that's why I offer clients a combination of the two. And
Okay.
generally, what I recommend is 10 sessions to be able to actually experience some change, because it's like nobody goes, against their ideal weight by going to the gym on one day. So nothing happens with one session. So if you're kind of consistent and persistent with it, yes, life changes. And it really, and at the same time, it really opens up in beautiful and miraculous ways, perhaps at times way beyond one's imagination also. And that is something which gives me a lot of satisfaction to see people kind of, you know, living enriching, fulfilling, and powerful lives.
Right. And tell me more about this, tuning fork frequency. How do you have something that you can show right now on the live stream?
If you'll give me a moment's break, I'll get it.
Absolutely.
Sure, I'll be just back.
Sure. So let's, guys, just stick on for a few seconds while the window gets this tuning frequency back, and let's see as to how this is going to work, because this is something that I haven't experienced myself, and I would really be excited to see as to how this energetically works with the tuning fork frequency, and maybe the window can also give us a brief demo, and we can all see what it's like. In the meanwhile, if there are any questions, then you can also put them down in the comment box. And once the window returns, we can address those questions to her, which I'm sure she'll be happy to provide us the answers to. And for everybody who's joined us right now, the NRG Retreat with Tanvi Kapoor podcast is also live streaming on iTunes, on Alexa, on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, on TuneIn Radio. So, what you really need to do is download any of these apps, and you will be able to access the podcast at any time and listen to all our previous episodes as well. It's all about wellness services and products. This is currently our services section that's on. And I was on a 1 month long break. I lost my very dear pet, Olive, and I just wanted to take some time off and, you know, just be away for a bit from social media and from coming on live. Just wanted to take my time for things to settle in. And yeah, here I am back again with a long hiatus all of February, and look forward to seeing all of you in more episodes in times to come and in the coming weeks. So the winner, I was telling them about Olive, about that whole
Yeah.
whatever emotions that I've gone through. So Olive's been with us as our family member almost for 13 and a half years. So it was extremely
Yeah.
overwhelming to not have him around, and so I guess it was okay. I thought in my mind many times whether I should, like continue with the podcast and with other things that I had to professionally and other personal commitments as well. Then I thought it's okay to take some time off, because that's what I'm feeling inside my heart, and it's okay to kind of retreat for a bit and then come back. Then that's what I feel. Then I guess it's okay to do that, and I think it feels like I did the right thing. So on that
I
note,
agree. And at times, I think it's very important to honor your feelings and process the sadness and grief rather than, bury deep down and keep pretending to go ahead as though nothing happened. I think
yeah.
this time off for processing it was really meaningful, I'm sure, for you.
Yeah. So that's, I had this at the back of my mind. Should I come back immediately? Because I had like certain commitments. And of course, the podcast episodes also had to be recorded, and there were other commitments. And I'm like, it's okay. I can put things on hold. I think it's okay to also, go through whatever we're going through emotionally and kind of take account of that. And you can, like, I feel you can, like, really, it's difficult to move on. So when people say move on from something, I think it's difficult to move on, but what we can really do is move forward.
Move
We
forward.
accept whatever it is, and then we just move forward. So that doesn't literally mean like leaving everything behind or like moving on, because it's not something that happens that quickly usually. But what we can do is kind of move ahead, right? Move forward is what we can do.
Absolutely, absolutely. And to add to that, I would like to say that I personally feel that in this so-called fad of positive feelings and negative feelings, we've labeled so many things as, oh, you're sad, you should not feel sad. You're
Yeah,
angry, you should not feel angry. Why should you
totally.
repress those feelings too? They
Yeah.
are very valid feelings. Feel them fully and then they leave you. If I mean, I my belief always has been, whatever you hide a feeling, you sow a seed, you hide a seed, you'll have a tree. You sow that, hide that feeling of anger or sadness or grief, you'll have it multiplied many-fold. It keeps simmering within you, whereas once you allow yourself to feel it fully, it just leaves you. It's
Yeah.
lost its power over you. It's lost its power over you. Yeah.
Right. So let's,
So talking about tuning forks, basically, this is one.
okay.
This is a particular frequency. So as you can see, this is one size. This is another one.
Okay.
And there is this third one, which is a giant size. So basically, these are different tuning forks of different frequencies I use on people for balancing their chakras based on the issues that they have.
So can we get like a small demo right now? Is that possible?
This is actually done on bodies, on the chakra points. So it's
Okay.
basically getting these to vibrate, and then these are placed on the chakra points. So
Is
when
it,
the body feels that vibration, it comes back to its natural harmonic state, which it should be in. So wherever it's off balance, it starts to return back to its natural harmonic state.
so you can do it like on your
So
third eye,
it
on your
won't be
forehead.
possible.
So you can do it on your
Yeah,
third eye,
it's
forehead,
but
or something.
yeah, we can try that. So
Just because
basically, you don't
people,
hear a sound, it's more of a
absolutely,
vibration. It's
yeah,
more of a
sure, sure.
vibration. So I know, yeah, I normally bang it on something wooden. Right now, I'll do it on my hands. So do this, and then this end is placed on the chakra point, and there's a mild buzzing sound, but a lot of vibration that one feels in this particular part of the body. It's a very subtle and gentle process, but the changes it brings about are miraculous. And more as I've been in Goa, I've been observing, I think life is very simple. I mean, changes are also very simple, but not easy. Things which are simple are not necessarily easy. Like, we've kind of gotten into a space of making everything a huge effort. If you
Yeah.
tell somebody that if you want a tree, a beautiful flowering tree or a fruit giving tree to grow, all you've got to do is plant a seed, take care that it's not eaten up, and just water it. That's all you need to do. Nothing else, no hard work. You don't have to pull the roots down and pull the branches up or do any labor there. Life is like that. It's just like these simple energetic processes can create miraculous changes. But at the same time, I have had people who've asked me, is that all you need to do? Yes, that's all you need to do.
Yeah, so people need
But
to
we've
start
gotten into
talking.
the,
No, the things can be simple and everything doesn't necessarily need to be complicated. And I'm really
yeah.
intrigued by this tuning fork. Tell me, can we also work on chronic diseases, or is it only for chakra balancing, or can it be used for healing of other types as well?
It is really beneficial for people with bones problem, arthritis, and so on.
Oh,
And when your chakras are out of alignment, lifestyle diseases like diabetes is one of the outcomes of a chakra being out of balance. Now, if that chakra starts to come into balance, and again, it doesn't happen overnight, but once you start working on bringing it into a balance, after a few sessions, you begin to see the changes in one's body because the glands stop secretion or reduce the secretion of certain hormones, like the root chakra, for example, I would say the Muladhara chakra. Now, if that is out of alignment, your adrenals are affected. And adrenals being affected means you have excess of adrenaline rush in your bloodstream. You're always
Okay.
in that fight or flight mode. Now, when you have too much adrenaline in your bloodstream, it is going to impact your health. This is nothing airy fairy, it is pretty much scientific. It is going to affect your health, and similarly, it is with the other hormones related to all the chakras. So, once you start working on these chakras and bringing them into balance, the excessive release of particular hormones stops, slows down, and comes into balance. Once that is into balance, your health is restored.
Great.
So, that's the whole, yeah, yeah.
Can this also be done distantly, or you need to physically place the tuning forks on your client, or can you also do it distantly on
In
their picture or something like that?
No, in this case, this I have not had any experience with doing it distantly. These
Okay.
sessions are done only in person.
All right, great. And you could also do it
Yeah.
on your pets because, like, so many times, like,
Definitely.
okay, our labs are like, like big breeds of our fur babies, like Labradors, Retrievers, Golden Shepherds. They develop arthritis, as they mature. So it can be,
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I
all
mean,
right.
I have my dog Tango, and I've actually kind of brought him up all along. He's now 12 plus on natural as well as energetic methods only. I've
Yeah.
really refrained from taking him to the so called allopathic route. As far as possible, it's been natural, Ayurvedic, energetic, all those modes. And it's the same thing for me. I kind of refrain as far as possible from allopathy because to me, that is something new age. I mean, the ancient medicine, whether it's Ayurveda or any other form or energy medicine, has been here for centuries, whereas this has been probably just only a century and a half old. So for me,
Right.
this is new age, which I won't trust as much as the others.
Right. No, I mean, agreed. I do a lot of energy work and crystal healing with with Hector
Yeah.
also. It's my lab at home. And it's
Yeah.
a combination, of course, when he needs to go to the vet, I take him,
Hmm.
for other issues, but also like, especially like for his arthritis and other problems, try to do a little bit of energy work and grounding and, run like the MTVSS sometimes when I feel like his hind legs are hurting because of the weight issue and all of that. So,
Right.
yeah, so energy work is just for any area of your life. You can do it on yourself, you can do it on your loved ones, on your pets, and there's just no limit. And
And I think what Einstein said, that energy is the medicine of the future, is somewhere today coming to reality. That people more and more are moving away from invasive processes as far as possible and looking at alternatives, whether it could be healing through supplements, healing through energy modalities, healing their emotions, and seeing the outcome there, because the results begin to show after a few sessions, and thereafter, once faith builds up, then they avoid the invasive methods.
sure, and tell me, is there any kind of healing that you're into, Devinder, which is for people who have cancer, or who are recovering
uh,
from cancer, or who are like on currently on treatment, or have recovered but want to ensure they stay healthy? Anything for that kind of a thing?
Very frankly, the quantum leaps with the body alchemy, that process definitely again would help get to the core of the emotional distress that may still be locked within the body. So, if that can be released, then recurrence of that is kind of probably, it's possible to defer or delay that. And apart from that, of course, being trained in access body modalities and body processes, they are quite helpful. Also, chakra balancing would help there.
Great, thank you
Because
so much.
again, anything just to add, anything that in chakras also, it is a combination of two or more chakras which creates serious threatening illnesses like cancer. So if those can be restored and brought to balance, then recurrence of that, or the pain and suffering that one goes through through the disease, can be reduced considerably.
And I think, energy work is like, even if your loved one is suffering, you go through so much emotionally that I think it's not just somebody who is currently going through dis-ease, but also their family members that really need energetic healing. Because they are the ones that take so
Absolutely.
much responsibility about caring, nurturing, uh,
Absolutely. The primary caregivers really need a lot of support in such situations. And I think for them also, like you work with crystals and, other energy modalities as well. So, again, those are really helpful.
Right. So, guys, reach out to us if there's anybody who you feel in your family, friend circle who currently needs any kind of support. Um, you know, through the retreat, we'd be happy to connect you with Devinder, with any other healer. If you need my services, you can connect with any of us, and we'd be happy to, speak with you and see if there's anything that can be done. And on that note, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast episode. Devinder, thank you so much for joining us for the Women's Day special service episode. And is there anything that you'd like to conclude with?
I would say that, I mean, again, as I would just like to reiterate that, if one gives permission to oneself to feel all emotions without labeling it as good or bad. Even if you're angry, it doesn't mean that you need to lash out at somebody, but allow yourself to feel as angry as you can be. And after you reach a peak, you will notice that it starts to flatten out and leave you. So for me, it's like if you give yourself the permission to feel or your feelings without any labels, you will not be locking those in your body and hence have more ease and wellness in life and otherwise.
Yeah, that's so
On
true.
that note, thank you, Tanvi, for having me on this wonderful show and a special episode.
My pleasure, Devinder. And what Devinder is saying is like so true because so many times, people think that if they go to a healer or like a healer is just like perfect, they're not gonna feel anger, they're not gonna feel regret, they're not gonna feel uncertainty. But a healer is just someone who's probably felt a lot of everything and worked on themselves and knows that there is a way around it. So it's not like healers don't have these emotions. A healer could be angry as well, which doesn't mean that they, like when they said that they may necessarily lash out on someone. But like everyone else, healers also feel emotions, all kinds of emotions, from like anger to pain to uncertainty to doubt, anything and everything.
Absolutely.
So it's very natural
Absolutely.
thing. And even if you take sessions, you will continue to feel certain things that you're feeling. Probably the intensity might shift. The intensity might change, but you
And
might still continue to feel those things, and it's perfectly normal.
And just to add to that, that when you start the process of inner healing, it might be that all your anger that you've repressed over the years may just start, kind of coming out, oozing out. And you might be shocked that where is all this coming from? I never had this. Well, you had it all inside. Now
I
it's
was
like
surprised.
the wound in a pus. So you let the pus ooze out and then your wound heals faster. So whether it's negative emotions which kind of start oozing out, I would say that's a sign of recovery. And as far as you brought up a very valid point that it doesn't mean that the healer it is perfect, has kind of mastered all emotions. The analogy I use is throw an ordinary person and a healer down from the first floor, both will get hurt. But at the same time, the healer might just bounce back faster because of the
That's
work that they've done on themselves and
sure.
worked with others. That's all I would like to conclude
Right.
with.
And
Thank you
so many
so
times
much.
when anger also comes out on other people, it's not necessarily anger that's coming out on them. It could be anger that you have suppressed, anger that you feel for yourself. It might be regret, it might be blame, it might be guilt, it might be some kind of shame. So now, a lot of times
Yeah,
the anger that comes out on other people is actually anger that you have towards yourself, which you do not know how to channel, you know. So it could also be
absolutely.
that. So like Mrs. Kapoor, like here says, that anger normally is not on oneself but on others, and how is it good? It's not good or bad, but it's just an emotion. And sometimes it can be when we genuinely feel something towards someone else, but so many times it's anger that you have for yourself, which is pent up inside, which comes out situationally on someone else. In any case, I think we're going to have like
And
another podcast altogether about management of emotions and how it actually works is just so interesting, right? I
Oh,
think
yeah.
ultimately everything just boils down to what it is that we have stored inside our body that,
Yeah.
is not just emotionally impacting us, but also physically leading to a lot of things. So, there's so
I'd
much.
just like to add one more thing. As you read about somebody's comment that
Yeah,
anger could be towards others. Well, what if you could allow yourself to feel all that anger without lashing out on that person? I've done the anger processing myself, put on loud music in a room and screamed and yelled and cursed and, let out abuses as well towards that person, but that doesn't mean I have to do it to that person. I can do it to that memory that this person did this to me, and I allow myself to feel all that emotions. And then when I felt them fully, they just leave me because their power over me is gone. Otherwise, we keep on, a person may have hurt us once, but we'll keep rewinding and replaying it for the rest of our lives. And that person hurt us once, but we will hurt ourselves 100 times by just replaying the whole emotion once again. So it's very
that's so
important, I
true.
think, to
Yeah.
process and release those emotions rather than suppress them or label them as right, wrong, good, and bad, and all of that.
Yeah, and that's where the access consciousness clearing statement also comes in. There's so much that you have to talk, Devinder. You have to come back on the show. So it's been so exciting. I think Devinder is going to be coming back on the show, and because we have so much more to talk. But for right now,
Yeah.
we're gonna be taking your leave. And for everybody who joined us a little later in the episode, please feel free to watch the repeat on Facebook, YouTube, or hear the live stream in the next couple of days on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcast, TuneIn Radio, or Alexa. That's Tanvi Kapoor signing off from NRG Retreat with Tanvi Kapoor. Thank you so much again, Devinder, for being on the show. See you guys, and wishing you a
Conversa-
fantastic Women's Day.
Conversations with Tanvi have always been interesting, as has this one been. Thank you so much, Tanvi, for having me.
Thank you. Bye. See
Bye.
you.
Bye.